Guys, long time no see. I know I didn't upload a video for a week or so. It's because I got a CO2 treatment done. I will have a video coming all about that very soon. My face was peeling off for a while. I just got to the point where I could put makeup on, and my skin right now is the most gorgeous it's ever been, except for Wendell the pimple right here. He just had to come in, have his moment. On today, we are doing a chit chat, get ready with me, playing with me makeup, and talking shit. Let's just call a spade a spade. Today, I want to talk about the Reesa Teesa Who the F Did I Marry series that I sat and watched all 50 parts of. Was it only 50? It felt like it was way more. It was like 8 hours of content. I have so much to say. And what I would like to do today is talk about the red flags that women ignore in men. And we're going to do another one right after this one, talking about the red flags women ignore in themselves and each other, quite frankly. And I want to use Chelsea from Love is Blind season 6 to depict that for you. All that being said, let's get started. Like I said, tons of new makeup to try out today. We have the Danessa Myricks Beauty Balm. I picked this up because I have been looking for a hydrating primer. I know I just said the other day that I'm not super into primers, but my skin has gotten dry. Like, it's a lot more dry than it's ever been, and I don't really know what to do. So I've got no moisturizer or anything on. All I have on today is my vitamin C. I'm gonna take this little balm texture. It reminds me a lot of the Then I Met You cleansing balm. And I'm gonna put this on and let it hang out on my skin for a little while I do my eyeshadow, because this is basically oil. I don't know how it's gonna go. I like that this is unscented and it feels really nice on the skin. Why can't all my cleansing balms or my products that come with this little spatula have a place? I can leave it so it stays nice and together. I'm just saying. All right, for eyeshadow today, I wanna work mostly, like the star of the show today is going to be the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. I have a look in mind. I want like a darker smoky eye with like silver and like sleek hair, like straight hair. That's like what's in my mind today. For transition, I'm gonna take Liberty and Heroin, mixing them together. So the Reesa Teesa thing, I wanna make a couple of, I don't wanna call them disclaimers, but maybe like set the stage, if you will, from where my position on all this comes from. Number one, like I said, I did watch the whole thing. I didn't watch a recap. I watched the whole thing, and I have to say, mark my words, this is going down in the history books. Social media will forever be bisected into before Reesa Teesa and after. I promise y'all, she has changed social media forever. I can't even remember the last time I binged anything, let alone an 8-hour story time from a content creator I had never heard of before on a platform I don't even like. Also, this is not a Reesa Teesa hit piece. F really heavy with her. I like her a lot. I think she is an incredible storyteller. That's part of what sucked me, and I'm sure tons of other people, into this story and felt so captivated by her. And then the best part about it was, I'm from Georgia, y'all, so I have spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and it literally felt like she was talking to me like we was homegirls, because she was like, just like I talked to my friend where I'll be like, girl, I was going down Moody Road right before it goes to Houston Lake, and you know, I saw Kim and them at the store right before. That's what I felt like. I felt like we were just talking to each other. And like I said, I've spent a lot of time in Atlanta. I knew exactly where she was talking about 9 times out of 10. Really set the scene for me. I felt like I was there. I felt like we had known each other for a long time. It just, content creation, 10 out of 10. Storytelling, 10 out of 10. Charisma, 10 out of 10. I just love her. Now, all that being said, Miss Reesa Teesa, in her series, in her videos, she's not shied away in any capacity from her role in this story. She acknowledges that there is something to learn from where she messed up here, and she also said that was the main reason, one of the many reasons that she wanted to share this story. She wanted it to help people. So while I am going to point out maybe a few things she should have done differently, I'm sure she wishes she would have done differently, by no stretch of the imagination am I trying to pile onto her. Not really going to dive in point by point to what happened in the story. If you guys want to watch a recap, the whole story, go do it. It's frankly entertaining as hell, but I'm not going to do that today. Next, I'm going to go in with a little bit of Brave and Fearless. Mostly Fearless, but I might lighten it up a bit with Brave to kind of start working our way down in our crease. So the first red flag I want to talk about that I feel like a lot of women overlook, and I want to talk about why I think they overlook it and why you should be concerned about it, is when your man is shit talking his ex. So although Reesa Teesa and Legion both shared kind of their more recent romantic past with each other. Legion told her immediately that he was married and the marriage dissolved because he walked in on her cheating on him, and that would later be something that we would find is what he told everyone about every ex that he had. It was always, I walked in on them cheating, they cheated, like it's a sob story situation where he's been done horribly wrong by this evil ex of his. And I have been on all sides of this situation. I have been the one that my ex has shit talked. I have heard others shit talk their exes. And I have actually also been with, in particular, there's this one dude I was with who had every reason in the world, frankly, to talk as much ish about his ex-wife as he wanted to. I mean, she had done some, and I knew she had done the deplorable things because I knew her, and he never talked about her, literally ever. Never came up. And I can tell you a couple of 3 things about this. People who do this are a red flag, and I don't even just mean men who do it. I mean women who do it. I mean family members who do it against each other. I mean your new employer talking about his last employee. Like, you have to look out for this. There are exceptions to when I think it is appropriate to tell people this kind of stuff. Very rarely would I think it's a first encounter early in the dynamic necessity kind of thing to happen. But the few exceptions I can think of is if somehow this ex, this former employee, this family member, it's going to somehow put you in danger. Like, you need to be aware of what you're walking into. They're trying to protect you. You are in immediate physical danger somehow. Other than that, I don't know why this would be anyone's business immediately upon meeting someone, and I'll tell you why. People with personality disorders or particularly manipulative, abusive people, they tend to do something called smear campaigning. This is actually something you will notice in all people that are like this. They're all kind of the same. They seem at first glance, when you're just getting acquainted with this type of person, just chaotic and like you have no idea what they're gonna do next. But once you get a little closer, you realize they're all exactly the same. And one of the things they do is smear campaigns. So it's good to be aware of that when you're first interacting with new people, because you need to always be asking yourself, why? If Miss Reesa would have asked herself, why, I think a good portion of this could have been avoided. Some of the reasons that people who are disordered and abusive do this, if they get to be the first one to run and tell this story, there is a higher probability they will be believed. Because then you put your opponent in question here on the defensive, which is the second thing they do. They want their target to be on the defensive, because if the target's too busy defending themselves and trying to explain themselves and show receipts and everything against the one who's smearing them, all the attention is now on the victim in question. There's no time to look at the actual person who's saying all this shit. We're too busy focusing on this person now needs to defend themselves. And the other reason they will smear is for pity. A big thing. Or I would say specifically with men, I don't know that women do this as much, maybe they do. Men in particular are very aware that there are some women in this world who almost feel excited by the idea that the mate that they have chosen just has been treated so poorly by every other woman, and I'm gonna be the one to come in and save them and show them what real love is. There's really some women out here. We're gonna talk about that in the Chelsea video, like the ego of women. But yeah, these are all reasons this person might be doing this. So again, you have to ask yourself, why are they doing this? If it's not to protect you from immediate physical danger of some way, you have to ask what the motivation behind telling you this would be. I'm gonna go in with Nirvana. Men, in my opinion, okay, I know a lot of people are not gonna like blanket statements. Let's just look at all this stuff as rules you need to know so you can know when to break them. You have to know the rules first. Men, for the most part, if they're healthy men in their masculine energy, they don't want to come across to women they're attracted to as weak. It doesn't mean that they can never open up to you. They can never share their struggles with you. They can never share their emotions. That's not what masculinity is. At the end of the day, a masculine man, a healthy masculine man, he should be protecting you. And I mean that in every sense of the word. So if it means protecting you from drama, of which is none of your business, you can't do anything about, like a healthy masculine man doesn't need you to come right in and save him. They don't want to look like cucks, basically, and going out here and being like, oh, the woman I married, the girl I dated, whatever. And several of them at that, according to Legion, were Jezebels, they were cheaters, they were drug addicts, whatever the case. Because at the end of the day, if you are a healthy person yourself, if you have, you know, the good sense God gave an avocado, eventually you're going to be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you picking women like this? What is it about you that attracts this? Everyone has the ability to get bamboozled. I understand that. But if it's a consistent issue, like the man in your life, he's telling you, oh, my ex-wife this, my ex-girlfriend that, my second wife this, my third wife that. You gotta be like, even if he's telling the truth, even if these people really are these bad people, you have to wonder what's wrong with him. And furthermore, what's wrong with you? Why is he attracted to you? Are you just as crazy as these women? Like, what is it? I'm gonna start smoking out the outer corner here even more with black in the palette. It's called Renegade. Another feature of this kind of smear campaign tactic that is very useful to people like this is it stops the new target from conversing with the old target. People like this will do it in innumerable ways. They might say something like, oh babe, you know, my ex is so jealous of you. She's gonna come to you and say all this crazy stuff about me, or she's crazy. If you talk to her, she'll stalk you. Like, the whole point is just to stop the new from talking to the old, because y'all might start comparing notes. You might catch this fool in some lies. Like, there are a lot of reasons, a lot of advantages a manipulative person stands to gain from doing this. So again, you gotta ask yourself why. If the why is like, girl, I asked you on this date because I really like you, I want to see where this goes, but just so you know, my ex might be outside slashing my tire right now. Just want you to know that's a possibility. Like, if you never seen hide nor hair of this girl and you're constantly being told how horrible she is and how crazy she is, I would look into that. And truly, the best case scenario here is your current man is telling the truth, okay? It's not gonna work out for you in the best way anyway. Like I said, number one, that's pretty emblematic something's wrong with him. Number one. Number two, you're gonna pay for the error of those women ways. I promise you. It's gonna be looking over your shoulder all the time. It's gonna be making you out to be a villain every time you even remotely replicate or seem familiar to him and his exes. Like, he's gonna grind this axe all over you. There's no winning here. I would argue people who have bad relationship skills and who are proud of them and who boast about how poorly they've been treated so much in their life, I think they're red flags. I truly do. There's a reason, okay? There's a reason they can't make it work with anyone. It's just, if you have never really taken the time to like look at this for what it is and think about it, or maybe you yourself have a bad habit of replicating this behavior, you might not see it for what it is, which is a giant, screaming, screeching red flag. I'm gonna go on with this color here called Strong AF. It reminds me a lot of Satin Taupe from MAC, if you guys remember that color. But first, I'm gonna take the Bobbi Brown Shadow Stick in Taupe and lay down a base all over my lid. This is not gonna match the other colors I have laid down, but that's not the point of it. It's gonna get covered up. What we want is just kind of this opacity that it's gonna lend us, so it doesn't take us a month of Sundays to build up the lid color, and it's gonna give something sticky for this eyeshadow color to kind of sit on top of. Let's talk about red flag number 2, which is a commitment-aholic. And I know, that's confusing to some women, because that seems like what we should be looking for, right? If you are dating a guy who has never had a serious girlfriend, that's a red flag. And if you're dating a guy who's had too many, that's a red flag. That's constantly why we're trying to find that balance. Don't rely on extremes. It's going to mess you up every time. But my point is, through Reesa's investigation of this man, she found out that he had, I think, at least 3 other ex-wives outside of him, which means there were very definitely many, many ex-girlfriends, many more fiancés, and many more proposals that she probably didn't know about. You know, she did not find that out till later on in the situation, but it didn't surprise me when that came out, because people like this have to have a system in place. I'm going to take a little bit of Maverick and kind of focus this right here on the tear duct area. Abusive people, manipulative people, personality disordered people need other people. Now, they'd be happy for it to be a whole slew of them, but they will settle for just one person basically getting all their needs met for them. One person to create what is called the shared delusion. The person who they can look at and bounce this bullshit reality back and forth between. They need this person to kind of co-sign on their reality. In other words, the ideal partner for Legion, which would never come to pass, I don't think, although like Ted Bundy got a wife, so I don't know. Is a woman who would kind of do what Reesa did in the beginning. When she knew he was lying, she just let it happen. But that's what Legion needs. He needs someone who's going to keep, every time he comes around and he's like, yeah, baby, you know, I got all this money. The wife would need to be like, I know. Oh, you don't want me to see proof of it? That's okay. I know it's because you've been hurt in the past. Like, they need this person to share their delusion. Because of that, they tend to have a lot of relationships. They can't be independent. And again, most of them cannot get their needs met on their own because they're very dysfunctional people, as evident by Legion. He had nobody and nothing because he had burned so many bridges and caused so many problems for himself. So the shared delusion or the shared fantasy that people like this need tends to come from an intimate partner or a spouse because, like, let's face it, we are just willing to put up with more stuff from people we love like that. It's just, we all know it. I'm going to attempt to take a little bit of this color right here. It's like a creamy, flaky, glittery gel almost. And it's best applied with fingers, but I have these nails that make it really hard to kind of, what I'm going to do is focus it kind of right here. It's just really pretty and sparkly. For the record, before I move on and forget to say, I do really like this palette. It's good for cool tone girlies. It's good for smoky eyes. It's not exactly the same, but it does remind me of the Natasha Denona Glam palette. Again, not identical, not dupes at all. I just think the vibes are kind of there. She did do what I consider a cardinal sin, and she does this with all her palettes. This is really my only issue with Huda Beauty's eyeshadow palettes. Her formulas are great. They look very interesting the way she does these like marbleized kind of finishes in some of her shadows. The different types of textures are great. The mattes are beautiful. They blend out incredibly well. I do just really not mess with this. I hate when you take these kind of drastically different textures. Like this is essentially a cream, and this is definitely a cream, and they're gonna get ruined over time from dust up from the other shadows. It's my only gripe. I will say, other than that, 10 out of 10. Do love it. If you've been thinking about it and you're on the fence, pick it up. It's cool. Especially if you're trying to bring back the trashy makeup, the Y2K vibe that everyone's doing. Because like when I go to the When We Were Young Fest in October in Vegas, I'm going to do it up big time with like the Rock of Love aesthetic. And that palette will be coming with me for it. So I've been doing my eyeshadow for what, like 20 minutes? And this ceramizer has not absorbed into my skin at all. It is still very on my face, which I don't think is a bad thing. I mean, I guess we'll find out in a minute when I do my foundation, because what's been happening to me lately is I'll put a moisturizer on, it's all gone by the time I gotta put my foundation on. And I think it makes it look drier than I wish it did. One of the most disordered people I have ever met in my real life has been married 3 times, engaged at least 5 that I know for sure. Meaning like the 3 that he actually married plus 2 more that I know for sure happened, but I have heard there's been more. I just can't verify, you know, for certainty. He has 2 kids with 2 different women. He just be getting around. And here's an unpopular opinion I have about this. It's not, I mean, I wouldn't consider it a healthy behavior for women to be like this either, but it's even more of a red flag to me when men do it, because men, when they enter into marriage or a family unit, you know, having children or whatever, what we would consider an exemplar of masculine fortitude and excellence is someone who is about business, who's taking care of their family, who has resources for their family, who has good relationships with their family, who's keeping their family together, who is committed to that family. So men who are quick to get engaged, quick to get married, quick to have kids with other women is such a red flag for me, because men are not wired this way. Maybe they want to spread their seed. So I guess, yeah, maybe they got a bunch of kids, but that's still a red flag. Don't get it twisted. They typically want independence. Men love, in fact, if you're having issues with your man and it's, you know, not as big as some of the stuff we're talking about today, which is basically manipulative and abusive behavior. If it's just like, he's not chasing me or he's not interested, leave him alone for a while. That is a love language to them. It's something we can't understand as women because we take it all personal and you're like, you should love me, you should want to be around me all the time. They're just not like us. I'm sorry. Y'all been lied to. But men tend to want their independence, at least for a little while. So men who are just jumping from long-term relationship to long-term relationship, especially if they're telling you that their exes are drug addicts or cheated on them or were horrible people or whatever. Maybe wouldn't you want to be single for a while? A while meaning like years in between these big old long-term relationships. But again, people like this need these relationships in order to survive. It's not a want. It's not a I love you, I lust for you, I want you. It's a I need you. I need you to take care of me. I need you to be my mommy, is essentially what these type of men are like. Now, girls do the same thing. We're going to talk about that more in my red flag video about women. But men in particular, if you notice the guy who's doing this, run, don't walk. I know especially when women are in their 20s, they get really frustrated when they're dating a guy who doesn't want to settle down until he graduates college or he gets his promotion. Some women think that's a cop-out. It can be, because at the end of the day, even a man who is so about his business, if you are his dream girl, that's just the truth. That is true. But at the same time, he's gonna wanna provide everything for you so you'll stick around. He's gonna wanna take care of you. He's gonna wanna be someone you wanna build with, someone you wanna grow with, someone you wanna put roots down with. Like, that's gonna be his main goal, is to be the type of man you don't wanna let go of, especially if you're the dream. So I know some girls think it's a huge cop-out when guys have that attitude of like, I wanna graduate college before I get married. It's probably true. They want to have their purpose figured out. They want to know who they are, where they're going, what they're going to do, what they're going to contribute. It's important to them. Healthy ones, okay? So it's not that I'm saying you should stick around and wait for 10 years of medical school. I don't really have an answer on a one size fits all. It's definitely case by case, but you will not see men who are about their business doing this because they understand the responsibility they're taking on. They're not out here having tons of long-term relationships, because ultimately what that signifies to you, or what it should signify to you, is that this is not about love. Like I said, it's not about you are my dream girl, I can't get enough of you, you're irresistible to me, you're everything I ever wanted. It's like anybody will do. Whoever will take me is fine. That's what that means. Now that I covered up Wendell the pimple, can you see how great my skin looks? Like, that CO2 treatment was life-changing. My skin looks better than it did about 10 years ago, and I intend to get another one of these done. I'll probably do it again in the fall. Like I said, I have a whole video coming about it. If you want to know, do I recommend it? The short answer is yes, but definitely watch my video before you commit to it so you know what you're getting into. For foundation, I'm using the KVD Beauty Good Apple Ceramizer Foundation. It's been on my list of one I want to try. The only thing I have an issue with right now is like, these are very similar in depth of color, and I usually, like I've told you before, I get a dark color and a light color and I mix them together for the many shades of me, but these are not as far apart in depth as I thought they would be. And this is the color, what color is this? Medium 3-6. It looks really yellow in the bottle, kind of worried about it, and I don't know what's gonna happen right now. Like, look at that, it's so yellow. For my brush today, I'm going to use the Morphe V102 because I've been using the Nikki La Rose one too much, and I probably need to mix it up. That's like spreading really far. I use like one pump and it's probably going to cover my whole face. Wow. But again, even with this red flag, we have a best case, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is everything I just said. He's abusive, he's manipulative, and he uses his partners to get his needs met. He does not care about you. He, like, if it don't work out with you, he'll be on to the next, all those things. The best case scenario is none of that is true. But again, he is so damaged that he keeps getting in these crappy relationships without figuring out what his role in it is. Whether it's his picker, not his pecker. Whether it's his ability to vet women, to take commitment seriously, to understand what he's doing wrong in this situation, whatever it is, he has not figured it out. So unless we're talking years of therapy and celibacy and figuring it out, still a big red flag. Okay, I really like this foundation. It is still a bit yellow for me, but the main thing is, I think this bottle would last you. You'd have to bequeath it to your children. Like, one pump will cover your whole face and your neck. It's wild. It just keeps going. It looks really glowy and beautiful, and it feels invisible. I don't feel anything. It just feels like I'm rubbing a naked brush all over my face. It's incredible for that. Or the shade range is like awesome, but also a nightmare. Might be one that you want to go in person and figure out. But yeah, my skin looks great. For contour, today I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario Contour Stick in medium. I am just such a simp for Makeup by Mario. It's not even funny. Before we move on to our final 2 points in this video, I do want to quickly address a few things that I know I might get comments on, or people who don't want to finish the video won't hear me say this, so let me go ahead and clarify. I have said several times in this video, or at least referred several times in this video, to personality disorders, and I am aware that recently Legion's brother has made it known that at a young age he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar. Side note, you guys, okay. When I was watching Reesa Teesa, and this comes from one of two things: either it's my ADD and my high pattern recognition, or the fact that I've read so many books in my life that I can see storytelling, like the framework of it so well. Anyway, there were so many things as Reesa Teesa was talking about in the story that I was like, I already know how this is going to end. I can already tell. And one of those things was the conversations he was having on the phone with his brother and his family members. She kept bringing it up so much. I was like, there's nobody on the phone. I just know it. And even though I knew that's what she was going to say, by the time she got to that point in the story, it was like I was in my bed. The lights were off. I was just watching it on my phone before I fell asleep. Don't recommend get off your screens before bedtime. I just was on one. Do what I say, not what I do. It's like the dead of night. It's all dark in my room. I got my headphones in. I'm watching this video. She says it. And when I tell you I got the wiggly gigglies, like I was so uncomfortable. It just gave me the biggest, I was so creeped out. It was like a horror movie. I even knew it was coming. I was still horrified, especially when she was talking about the fact that some of the folks he was on the phone with were people who were deceased. I was so uncomfortable. I can't even tell you. As per usual, this Makeup by Mario product is incredible. The color is sublime. His brother did come out and say that when his parents were alive, they tried to get him all the help they could get him. And that again, unless I missed something, and I went back and watched this a couple times, so I could be speaking out of turn, but this is what I took away from it. It sounds like he was diagnosed with this at a very young age, this bipolar and schizophrenia. That doesn't mean that isn't, the case, that's not what he's suffering with, especially when it came down to the phone calls. That's why I was like, something is horribly wrong with this man. I will say 2 things. Number 1, personality disorders cannot be diagnosed in children. You are not supposed to even attempt to on the child until the child's about 18. And even then, I think that might be a little too soon, because children and, young adults are just kind of crazy and messy, and to try to diagnose them with anything, I think is very difficult until they get a little bit older and you can a little bit more clearly identify if this is their personality versus like a mood disorder, which is what schizophrenia and bipolar disorder are. Personality disorders are different. That's your personality. It's baked into the fiber of your being. It's how you see the world. It's how you react to the world. It's how you do everything. I will also say that just because he has schizophrenia and bipolar disorder does not mean he can't also be a narcissist or have antisocial tendencies. The two are not mutually exclusive. They're just 2 different things. So it's very possible that he is still a narcissist and has these other mood disorders. There's a lot of things that lead me to believe he was not disconnected from reality. It's very clear to me he was aware of what he was doing. A good example would be the screenshots. He took the time to take screenshots of fake bank accounts to show them to her, to have her believe that this is how much money he had. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody. I don't have any credentials whatsoever to do so. I'm just telling you in the context of this video of things to look out for and the type of people who tend to employ these tactics. It's not to vilify anyone who has a mental illness. If you have schizophrenia or bipolar, does not mean you are like Legion. I'm not trying to make the case for that. I will say though, even if you do have schizophrenia or bipolar or depression or anxiety or PTSD or whatever, OCD, I don't care what it is. It doesn't give you the right to abuse anybody, period. I don't care. For concealer, today I'm going to do the Natasha Denona High Glam. I've been wanting to pick this up forever. I have 2 different shades. I have N1 and N9. This is the most beautiful packaging I have ever seen for a concealer. Start off with N9 and see what happens. So let's talk about red flag number 3. Hopefully this video is not as long as Reesa Teesa's actual series was. Good Lord. So it's really thin and it spreads like really well. So the Lady Gaga one, the House Labs, I would say it's beautiful, but it's a little thicker, almost like cream. This is liquid. I guess if we can cover Wendell up, that's gonna be the real sign of how good this concealer is. You do not need a lot of this. It is very spreadable. Red flag number 3, they want to move too fast. It shouldn't be surprising that this is going to come your way. This is, again, if we're dealing with a dude where he's shit talking his exes, he's had a lot of them, it stands to reason he's moving too fast. Because when you're moving too fast, you're running on pure potential in people. You're running on lust. You're running on the dream of what could be. You're not seeing the people for who they are yet. It takes a while to get to know someone. And to be fair, there's all kinds of stuff you don't know about the people even that you're the most close with in the world, like your parents or your best friend. You don't know everything. Every thought they have, every instinct they try to ignore. You just don't know what you're dealing with, even with the people you know the longest. So to kid yourself into thinking that, in Reesa's case, you know, she met this fool, they went on a date, and then 2 weeks later they were quarantining together. Now, Reesa herself, you know, wanted to kind of do this. I'm not saying she was bamboozled into this part. She said herself she did not want to quarantine alone. Please watch the next video. We're going to talk more about red flags in women because this is one of the biggest ones. Y'all have got to stop making decisions about relationships because you don't want to be alone. I don't know why you don't want to be alone. Can't speak for Reesa, but the people I know in my life who are constant relationship people, they don't like their own company. That's what it is for them. Or who cannot stand being alone. Look, I did not quarantine alone. It wasn't even an option. I was married. You know what I mean? So I can't relate to this. I can't put myself in the position of having to deal with this by myself and being in my house for weeks at a time. I don't think I would mind too much, just knowing myself in my past. I've had 2 serious relationships. I married both of them. They were like years apart, like 5-6 years apart, just so you know. And other than that, I was pretty much single. I mean, I dated guys, but ain't nobody lived together. No parents were met. It was not serious. So I imagine if in a different world, in a different time, I would have quarantined alone and I probably would have been fine with it. That's not to be like, and therefore I'm better than Reesa Teesa. I'm just saying it took work and energy on my part to get to that place. And it's worthwhile work. You guys have got to get okay being alone. As far as the whole thing with him wanting to move fast, I mean, we're talking like first date. There are conversations about forever and ever. In fact, the whole John Legend song, I met my wife tonight, blah, blah, blah. Y'all should not get swept up in that. It should be, as I said, a huge red flag that some man, especially in his case, right? According to him, he is a wealthy athlete who is, and according to Reesa, she said he was fine, but girl. I wasn't there. Bring back judgment. I know we have this huge thing where we're like, don't judge people. Judgment, at the end of the day, better or worse, is an evolutionary thing ingrained in us to protect us from danger. Do I think you should judge people and be cruel to them based on those judgments? No. But I think eliminating the ability and the necessity to make judgments of others is making a lot of people sitting ducks. Because Legion, I can tell you right now, is not a VP of nothing except VP of bullshit. Like, you could just tell. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. You could just look at that man and tell he didn't have health insurance. That's all I'm saying. This concealer is beautiful. But yeah, if I meet a man and he's like, oh yeah, I was an arena football player, which by the way, all you gotta do is Google. I don't know why Reesa didn't Google him that night. All this would have been figured out because he was not on a roster anywhere. And arena football players do not make that much money. They definitely don't. I don't care how fiscally responsible they are. They did not make enough time to have offshores. It's just not a thing. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I don't know why I keep saying that. You're freshly single. You just moved here. You've had no time to be on your own and kind of sow your oats in this new city. You got a lot of money, but you want to get married to like right away. I'm sorry. Why do I keep saying that? God, it's such a habit. Again, bring back judgment. This really does circle back to my original point about how when you're dealing with someone like this, it doesn't matter. The person in question is not the point. It is not about Reesa. It was never about Reesa. As lovely of a person as she is, never had anything to do with her. It didn't. It was about a role, a position he needed filled. That's why he was so quick to fill it. For cream bronzer today, I'm using the Beautiful Skin from Charlotte Tilbury. All this stuff is new to me. I'm having so much fun with it. This is really pretty. I'm worried it's going to be dark. It's really dark. This is medium. So like either my tastes have changed and I don't like such a bold bronzer and looking at it's making me nervous, or should I got a lighter shade? I don't know. We about to find out though. So, okay. I need a lighter shade. Oh my God. I'm not even that fair. Why is this so dark? So here's the main thing you got to know about people who want to move real fast, even if it's you. Because again, Reesa definitely was part and parcel to this. People who look at you, who do not know you very well. This is where we got to check our egos. We're going to talk about this in the Chelsea video. Please watch it. If someone is coming to you and they're like, you are the most beautiful, intelligent, funny, smart, incredible woman I've ever met, and I want to dedicate which is what marriage is, y'all, dedicating your whole life to someone. Everything you do for the rest of your life is going to revolve around that person. That's what this man's telling you. Gotta ask yourself why. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. I'm not saying, the point of this is not to be like, you don't deserve love, there's something wrong with you, someone's got to be crazy to be interested in you. But you have to understand, again with the ego, this person does not know you. They really don't. So what they're doing is projecting qualities onto you that they want to see, especially, and I'm about to get real cerebral up in here, someone like a narcissist. They project these qualities onto their target because they like what it says about them. So for example, if a narcissist is telling you you're the most beautiful, intelligent, smart, amazing, what does that say about the narcissist? It means the narcissist is the type of guy who can get the most beautiful, intelligent, smart, amazing. Like, they don't even know you. They're just assigning these qualities to you because you are a mirror for them right now. That's all you are in a narcissistic relationship, just a mirror, something for them to project onto, something to share their delusion. I can't say it enough. It's got nothing to do with you. You got to get out of your ego. This is gassing you up to believe what they're saying about you is true. It doesn't mean you're not smart and amazing and beautiful and wonderful. But how can this person really understand this about you and appreciate how you got to be this way? And also that you're not perfect. You do have bad qualities just like everybody else. When someone projects this much onto you, it means the first time they see a shred of humanity in you and evidence that you're not the perfect thing they built you up to be in their mind, they're going to punish you for it. They're going to feel swindled. That's what they tell themselves. They'll feel like you lied to them about who you are. Meanwhile, they're the ones mythologizing you. Double red flag if they're directly comparing you to their allegedly crazy, horrible exes. This all ties into each other. It's all because of a central issue with this person's fundamental ability to regulate themselves and conduct themselves in the world. Red flag 1 is because of red flag 2 is because of red flag 3. In fact, we got to move on to 4 because this video is super long and I still have a few more points to make. Okay, so this concealer is super nice. I really like this. It's thin. It's thin and pigmented and hydrating and moisturizing, and I feel like it is the time of concealer. It's never been this good. This is great. I am just, everything I'm trying right now, I love. Even the Danessa Myricks balm, I thought it was going to make my makeup look really oily, but I don't think that's the case. It actually just looks really natural and skin-like, and it just doesn't feel dry. I'm going to do a few layers of blush today because I have new blushes. I bought all the new Patrick Ta blushes. This is not too much. I picked this up because this is typically the type of blush I would go for. If you watch my channel spanning back a long time, you would know that. I love neutral nude blushes, but we are in the time of the bold blush. So I also have been buying lots of bright ones, but I just wanted to try this. So red flag number 4, you are all he has going on in his life. This is one of the biggest red flags I could give you. This was not as present in Reesa's story as, quite frankly, it was in mine. You know, my dysfunctional, manipulative, abusive, narcissistic relationship I had it when I was really young. I was 18, so I really didn't know what I was looking at all. Not to mention I had, and we'll talk about this with Reesa in a minute, I had also only had bad experiences in relationships. Pretty much only had bad experiences with men at all. So I really didn't know what I was looking at. One of the things my ex did that to everyone else around me, my friends, my family, my co-workers, and you'll see why I say that in a minute, they were all like, Winnie, something's wrong with him. Something's wrong. I didn't want to hear it. Because I was young and thought I knew everything. But this fool, at the time I was a waitress, he would drop me off at work and then he would come back to my job, let's say at my shift time was 4:30. He'd be back up there by about 6:30 and he would sit there till I got off work every day. There was even a point where I would go spend the night at my friend's, Casey, hey girl. And that was the plan. I was going to go over there and watch movies and drink wine and stay the night. And what he would do, if I wanted to go anywhere without him, he would absolutely lose his mind. But the compromise we struck was that he would sleep in his truck in the driveway of my friend's house. And then the idea was once everyone goes to sleep, I just need to get in the car with him and go home. Why do you need to sleep here? We can just go home and sleep. It was crazy. With Reesa Teesa, girl, as it pertains to this man in particular, side note, I've got Huda Beauty. I have the Cherry Blossom, which I've been using, but I went and picked up Pound Cake because I want to try it, see what the real difference is. I've been using the pink for a while and I do really like it, but I haven't gone back to like a more neutral one in a while, and I just want to see if there's like a massive difference. I'm gonna lightly set the areas of my face that need it before I bake. In fact, one of you guys told me below, because it's not really baking, I don't let it sit for long at all. I put it on and then I wipe it off. One of you guys told me that Emily Noel here on YouTube calls that microwaving, and I love it. Anyway, with Reesa, so this man is a VP, and I don't know how much you guys know about corporate America, but my husband is not a VP, but his job, man got more degrees than a thermometer. He has a very serious, big boy job. Like, it's no joke. He's not in a lowly position whatsoever, but he is not a VP. This dude is always working. He's out of town a lot for work. He is in meetings, running, the day runs late sometimes. Like, he's got text messages after hours. Like, he got stuff going on. So unlike my ex, there would never be a world where he would be up underneath me like this, because he's got stuff to do. If a man wants to be up underneath you, it means he has nothing else going on. And in the case of my ex, he didn't have any friends. I mean, he might have, but I think I met one the whole time we were dating. I don't know why. I mean, it very well could have been that he had tons of friends, but he was just so obsessed with me, he didn't want to spend any time with them. I don't know. If I had to guess, it's probably because he burned some bridges, just based on the nature of his personality. No man should be up under you like this. Some girls want that for some reason. It should be a red flag to you. It should be concerning, because if a man doesn't have a purpose, if he doesn't have anything going on, and he needs you, you guys understand, men who need you are dangerous. You should not find this attractive. I don't care how much you love him. I don't care how much of the honeymoon phase you're in. It's not normal. It's not healthy. And it's a big sign of something bigger going on. A big sign of something bigger. Well, Legion did not have anything going on. I know lockdown had a lot to do with why he was able to move the way that he did. But even still, if I was Reesa, I would have been really worried why I was never really meeting anybody. Or talking to them on speakerphone, even something. Skype, I don't know, people were Skyping a lot back then. It's nothing to do with his job. He's a VP and he's coming home every day. She said he left every day at 6:30. He came home every day at 3:30. No exceptions? Really? No exceptions? No quarterly reviews? No meetings? No traveling for work? No long hours? No, oh my God, the big wig's coming in, I gotta work on, like, nothing? This is a big reason why I think women need to get past it. And it's real popular. You see it online where, again, we're going to talk about the red flags in women. This idea that your man needs to sit home with you all the time and be home with you all the time. If you feel that way, you don't need to be in a relationship. There's something wrong with you. But this is why you shouldn't allow it, because it's so indicative of a bigger issue, a bigger problem with this person. And it's really hard to gauge how healthy they are with others. Like, you have to look at how his relationships are with a lot of other people to get perspective on what a relationship with him is really going to be like. So if he's never out with other people, you never see him with other people, you never see him manage conflict with other people, he doesn't have people in his life that have been there for a long time. And I don't mean Facebook friends that he met this person 10 years ago, they knew each other for a year and they've been Facebook friends ever since. I mean real relationships they have with other people. You need to observe this. And if for no other reason, like I said, if they're up under you like this, they ain't doing shit. Men who ain't doing shit don't have a purpose. Men who don't have a purpose need you, and men who need you are dangerous. Before I move on to the rest of my face, I'm going to take the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. I actually bought this like 5 years ago and I hated it. Why did I buy it again? I couldn't tell you, except for the fact that I need a setting mist, like a skin mist that doesn't dry my skin out, because it's just dry now. And I bought the Charlotte Tilbury one, but it's a setting one, which means it holds your makeup in place, but it doesn't give me dew. That's what I want. Just like dew me. That smells like something my baby has, like one of his body lotions or something, like his little lavender sleep cream. It smells like something. I can't figure out what it is though. For my lash line, I'm just going to take a random smattering of colors in the grunge palette we started with, but it'll all be colors we've already used, just nothing crazy. We're probably going to go in a gradient. It'll be like the lighter color, the medium color, the darker color, and black. But I tend to mix it a lot on my brush when I do my lash line, so it's really hard to tell you exactly what's going on. Thumbs up the video if you're still here. So red flag number 5, and the one I'm gonna spend, I don't know, I want to say the most time on, but Lord knows I've been talking for a while. Reesa ignored her gut instincts over and over and over and over again. So with my ex I told you about before, again, I was really young. So it's not that I was incapable of noticing red flags, but I did not have any frame of reference whatsoever as it pertained to healthy versus unhealthy behaviors in men. Not even close. So I try to have a little grace with myself as it pertains to this, but at the same time, I knew something was off. I knew something was up. And I also knew that my reasons for getting into that relationship were not good or healthy. In fact, it was really similar to Reesa's situation. Although, again, I was 18, so I don't know why I had this perspective. He was the first guy I had dated, really, who was like this to me. You know, I love you. I don't ever want to be away from you. This is my girl. I want to marry you. I want to fly away to faraway lands. Like, it was so much love bombing. I thought that was normal. I thought that was what it was supposed to be like, and anything else I had experienced was the indication that that was a bad relationship. It became really warped in my mind. And that was part of why I got in and stayed in, is because I was like, I'm so tired of being single. Girl, I was 18. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I'm so tired of being single. I just want to be loved. Reesa had a lot of the same energy. And you got to understand, if your reason, you know, justification or what your spirit is telling you or how you're rationalizing this to yourself is that you just want to be in a relationship, that is not a reason to be in a relationship. It's not like going for, like running a 5K. A lot of people choose to run a 5K because they want the experience, they want the challenge, they want the sense of accomplishment. Relationships are not that. They are nothing in the same realm as a thing you should just be doing because you want to do it. Obviously, don't do it when you don't want to do it. But that's not enough of a reason you should get in a relationship because you have a lot to give. Like, you're in a place where emotionally you're healthy, you feel like you're looking good, you got a lot to offer a person, you want to build with a person, you want to grow with a person, you're ready to face all your demons because that's part of what relationships are. They force you to face your own bullshit a lot. There's so many things that come with it and things you should accept and be prepared for. I just want to tick this box off as not one of them. I did it. Reesa did it. It wasn't about Legion. I don't think it was about Legion. I can't imagine it was. I think it was about she wanted to be in love. She wanted a relationship. And Legion was the one who was telling her, as she said many times, what she wanted to hear. She kind of went, you know, and fell for the okie doke. But when you are looking at things from that perspective, you are ignoring your gut. Left and right. And I was telling my daughter about this the other day. Maybe you would look at my perspective on men and women and relationship dynamics between them as old-fashioned. And maybe there's something to that. I don't know. This is my perspective on things now. 10, 20 years, I might have more data and have a different perspective. But the way I look at this is when it comes to heterosexual relationships between men and women, part of what makes them difficult, unnecessarily difficult, and I've touched on this a lot in this video, is our unwillingness to accept that we are different creatures, men and women. And both of us, men and women, get some stuff. Mother Nature, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, gave us our own little kind of tools that we need to move through the world and protect ourselves and thrive and grow and flourish, like our toolbox. And one of the things we got as women is women's intuition, y'all. And it is talking to us all the time. In fact, mine has never alerted me to something and it not been right as rain. It's never happened. Not once. I would argue, be willing to bet most of you women watching this would agree. Knowing that Mother Nature gave us this internal alarm system to protect us from harm, and we ignore it because, again, we're rationalizing it based on our dumb reasons to be in this situation to begin with, is a red flag in and of itself. If your body is communicating with you, if your spirit is telling you, shit, if your friends and family are telling you that this is not right, it doesn't matter how much you think you know this person better than anyone else will ever know it, and you grown now or whatever. Listen to the voice. You know, listen to the voice, and also listen to the people who love you. Like, the only reason I can't use Reesa as an example in this point is because she said herself nobody knew what was really going on. I think her perspective was very like, I wasn't raised like that. You don't bring people up into your business with your man and in your family. I get to an extent what you are trying to articulate here, Reesa. I agree. You don't want the whole world up in your life and your relationship. That's basically leaving the door open for people's opinion. Like, you got to be careful. I agree. But we live in the land of nuance. In this situation in particular, where her gut was telling her something was wrong, when she did not know this man very well, she really needed her counsel, her people to tell her and help give her perspective, because the people in your life who know you, who do not have the emotional attachments to this man or this relationship the way that you do, are gonna steer you straight. So you shouldn't be, a big red flag is, obviously the internal voice being ignored, but either choosing not to hear the voice of your loved ones, or doing everything you can to keep their opinions away from the situation, hiding it from them. These are all such big red flags. And that's where a lot of abuse is able to thrive, is in secrecy. So I can tell you, for me personally, that there was a time in that relationship I was telling you about before when I knew like it wasn't right. I knew something was wrong, but part of the love bombing and the point of it is to not give you any time to think. That's why they do it. I remember there was a point when I really needed time to think and figure my way out of this figure out what I wanted. And I just wouldn't answer this dude's phone calls. And he would go looking for me. In fact, one time he went out looking for me, found me at my parents' house, walked up in my parents' house like he owned the place. I hadn't even met my parents at this point. Like, they don't want you to have space or time to think about what you want and what's good for them, because they don't care. It's not about you. It's not about you. But you need time to think. You need the chance to talk about what was going on, because my friends and family, hold that thought. We're going to do highlighter really quick. This is the Dior Universal palette. It's the one I wanted to get. I got the wrong one last time, so we'll just see how this goes. So with the ex that I had, I knew it was wrong. I just knew. It's so hard to explain. I knew something was wrong. It was like a pit in my stomach. It was anxiety. I felt, this is the way I've always described it in the years that followed, when it came down to like why I didn't leave sooner. I would always say I felt like I had to stay. I had to. I don't know how to describe it any other way than that. I have tried for a long time to pinpoint what I even mean by that, but it felt like there was just this sense of obligation within it. I had to stay. I don't know if it was like I made my bed, now I gotta lie in it kind of perspective. I really don't know. I don't know if it was pride, stubbornness. I don't know. I feel like I had to stay. And I think on some level, Reesa felt the same way. Once the ball got rolling and she had introduced everyone and she had like made these intentions and there was this commitment, especially once she got pregnant, girl, bless her heart. I'm so sorry about that whole story. I'm sure on some level she felt like this was something she had to do. Relationships are supposed to feel like that. It's not supposed to feel like an obligation. It's not supposed to feel like or else at any point. And the fact that so many red flags were going off for her so many times, even some people are trying to give her shit because she spoke a lot about the Bible and how, well, the Bible said this and I was going against it and I felt bad about that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that if the Bible or your relationship with God is important to you and you align with that messaging, and she felt a lot of guilt and anxiety about that, she was betraying herself and her allegiance and her spiritual life to God because of this, like she was just betraying herself. And what your spirituality and in my opinion is so sacred, Christian or not. You don't have to agree with it in every foundational sense of the word and agree that the Bible is always what you have to listen to when you make decisions. But in this case, it was like a multitude of things. Her gut told her what she was doing was wrong. Her God told her what she was doing was wrong. And she still stayed and stuck it out. And that's, again, like if everything in your life is telling you no, your gut's telling you no, your God's telling you no, your friend's telling you no, your family's telling you no, like for the love of all that is holy, listen. Please listen, y'all, stop being so stubborn. You're not going to save face, and it doesn't actually serve you for your life to look better than it feels. Like if you feel like you're checking off some box and you live in the dream that all other people want, and that's what you're making choices based off, you're the one that still have to live and sit in those decisions. So again, what good is it if it looks great but feels terrible? This is nothing against Reesa Teesa. I love her as a person. I think she's wonderful. I'd love to meet her one day and just chop it up. I'd love to talk to her and ask her just so many questions. Lesion, listen, like I said, I'm not trying to vilify the mentally ill. That's not the point of what I'm saying. But again, I don't care what mental illness you have. It doesn't give you the right to do any of this. I'm looking forward to the Netflix or HBO miniseries. All right, guys, all I have for you today. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. Let me know if you stayed and watched the whole thing, because I know this is long as hell. Reesa Teesa, I am so sorry you went through this. I know you're talking about getting a therapy. I really hope that you do. And I hope that once you get through that, you realize you don't have to keep everyone out. You know what I mean? It's not that everyone is like this. This is a very particular type of person that once you can spot the traits of it, it's real easy to avoid it from now on. So don't close yourself off to love. I hope you guys learned something today. Let me know what your favorite point in the video was. And definitely stay tuned for my other red flag video about Chelsea from Love is Blind. I honestly don't know if it's already up or if it's going up after. Either way, check that one out too. And I will catch you in the next one.